gentlemen, boys and girls, do you know the fight, cats and dogs? You think you know the fight?
I think I know the fight. You want to know what
It doesn't matter what you think.
Welcome everybody to the Hands of Justice. We got our own opinion. You're gonna have to trust us. Lifestyle, fitness, and the hot top 5 list. Pure entertainment, talking fighting with fly fists. MMA, Bellator, boxing type-ish.
Hands of Justice! Let's get ready! They say whatever the fuck they want. You damn right.
Hands of Justice!
And now your hosts, James Hand and Seth Justice.
And it's another show for the Hands of Justice. Thank you for the intro from
Big Rob.
Bobby
O.
And you know, that was a awesome little intro he gave us, and we appreciate him so much for that and his production.
Right, and this time we're not out in Indiana.
Yeah, we're a little bit closer to home for you Columbus folks, and we are out here
On the east side.
on the east side.
That's all we're going to tell you.
Yeah, because we don't, you know us. We don't want fans everywhere. We don't want. I mean, we do, but I mean, come on.
But we don't want them to try to track us down and hunt us down. We never know about these stalkers.
Yeah, man.
We got to keep everything copacetic, I guess you would say.
Something like that.
So,
Rattling in my mic.
you hear rattling,
Yeah.
then stop touching it.
Oh, wow. I like touching. Now, James, you know me.
That's true.
Tell me not to do something, and then.
You like to touch stuff. That's
Yeah.
just how you are.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we're going to kick this off with, was there a fight night tonight? Or was it last night with Santos and Anders?
That is a great question. I believe because Bellator. What in the world? That's driving me insane. All right. I think because Bellator's having their stuff
Is
tonight.
that better, Cupcake?
Check 1, 2. Yeah, it's better.
Okay, there you go.
No, I'm still hearing it, but no, I'll get over it. I lost my train of thought, James.
It was about UFC and Bellator.
Oh, yes. So the fight night, well, Eric Anders, he had his last week.
Okay, so there's no fight this week.
There was no fight this week, and then the next one up is Khabib and Conor. But really the one that I'm looking at is the Bellator one.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to bring that fight up, that card up now.
Bellator 206. I mean, gee, many Christmas. You look at the main event with Mousasi and...
It's actually saying that it was last night. There's already results up.
No, it should be tonight.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Results
I'm wrong.
below. I don't know what
You're right, I'm wrong.
So the main card's going to be on DAZN, which I've never even heard of before.
It's a new streaming service because I've been noticing it's popping up. I don't know what it is, but it's something new that's coming around.
Well, and one fight I'm really looking forward to, yes, you have the Mousasi-McDonald fight, which is... and then you also have the rematch of Rampage and Vanderlei Silva.
The fight that we never knew that we wanted.
I know. It's like midget cage match, you know?
Right? It's that match we never really thought that we needed, but we kind of want to see it, especially since Bellator is a little bit more lax
Right.
on, I guess you would say, performance enhancing.
Do you think Rampage and Vanderlei Silva are both juicing to the gills?
I think Vanderlei is.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think Rampage is.
I don't know. I would kind of hope. What if that was just the Juice Bowl?
Just the Juice Bowl.
No, that would be Vitor and Vanderlei.
Right?
But another fight I'm looking forward to is this Aaron Pico versus Leonardo Higo. So if you watched Aaron Pico's last fight, this was, I want to say 3-4 months ago, but he is impressive. He is super, super young. He's 22, 5'8", 145 pounds, and his last fight, let me bring that up real quick.
For those that are wanting to watch this, the main card on the Zone is at 10 p.m.
Right. I'm about to sneeze. Don't sneeze.
Don't sneeze, don't sneeze.
where are his? Oh, there we go. So his last fight was against Lee Morrison, where he this was back in May, and he knocked out Lee Morrison viciously. Like, it was a vicious kind of deal. His main shtick is wrestling. He used to be a college wrestler. Go figure.
Right. Which, after college wrestling and Olympics, these guys have got to have someplace to go.
Right. And Bellator's a great spot, and so is the UFC and ONE FC and LFC and some of those other ones. Anyway, but it's really funny with Aaron Pico because, again, being a wrestler, his 3 wins in Bellator have all been by knockout.
Which is showing that as a fighter, you got to evolve your game, and Jackie says she knows where we are.
Oh, yeah, you...
Well, she has to know where we are.
Already we have a...
Psycho stalker.
Psycho stalker, gee. I wasn't going to say psycho, but...
A stalker.
Jackie, he said psycho.
I apologize for that comment.
Yeah, you're going to probably regret that one later.
Probably. So, but we did glance over the fact that, let's go back to UFC real quick. They're coming up with a new belt.
Right.
The 165-pounder.
Which I like this a lot because that, from 155 to 170 is just such a huge jump.
It's good to have that.
It is, and that's what they need to do from 185 to 200, put a 195 belt in between there as well. Just because, you're going to have those guys who are going to be way too big for 185 and then way too small for 205, meaning they're going to be missing weight cuts at 185 and possibly missing weight cuts at 205 and just not getting, the right area. And weight cuts are the hardest thing in MMA because it's a mental struggle to try and get through that and try and, be and perform the best that you can after training for so long at the weight that you are comfortable with.
Right, and that's the big thing. And will this benefit somebody like a Conor?
I don't think Conor, it really matters because 155 is pretty good for him.
Maybe a George St. Pierre?
George St. Pierre, this would be a huge help with because that weight cut down to 155 would be too much.
Which we've seen the problems with the weight cuts with the cyborgs. The big one on the weight cuts has been Hendricks.
Hendricks, yeah, but he's done, I think.
He's been done.
Right. Well, after I'm getting a lot of feedback. After his deal with.
Is that better?
Yeah, I mean.
We're still gonna have it a little bit regardless.
Yeah, I mean it just seems like a lot of rattling, and now I can't hear anything.
You can't hear nothing?
Not my phones. Check.
I didn't mess with anything on the phones. Keep going though.
But there we go. All right.
The feedback sounds like it's gone even on my end.
Okay. So basically, who this is gonna help the most? I'd say Nate Diaz. This helps a lot. Dustin Poirier. This is also gonna help a guy like Kevin Lee, who is huge for 155. Moves up to 165. Bada bing, bada boom. And this also kind of splits up that mess at 155 because you have Tony Ferguson, you have Kevin Lee, you have Conor McGregor, you have Khabib, and you have Dustin. Also Eddie and some of the other guys. But that kind of splits them all up a little bit because Dustin and Nate are probably going to go to 165.
Well, Dustin and Nate are the ones that's going to fight for this title.
Allegedly.
Allegedly is what's coming out. They
Right.
will be the two, actually, the first ones to compete for this title.
Right. And then, Conor might go up there just so he can be like, hey, yo, I'm the 3-time champ, motherfuckers.
Right?
So you have that. And then Khabib, he doesn't really care.
Khabib doesn't care either way. So we'll go back to the Bellator thing, and you brought up the Pico Higo fight.
Yep.
Then we've got Kerry Taylor Melendez and Dakota Zimmerman.
That's going to be interesting. Not a great fight, in my opinion. But it's going to be very interesting nonetheless because of the style of fighting that each one brings. Melendez is relatively newer to the sport. Zimmerman's been around for a hot minute, not a long time, but a hot minute. But it should be a good fight. Bolanos versus Gutierrez, again, young guys getting in there. And then also Korshkov. If you know anything about Andrei Korshkov, this guy is a bad dude. He's, again, a Russian, kind of out of the same mold as Khabib. And he's 28, 6 foot, 170 pounds. So,
Speaking of Khabib, his father was denied a visa to be able to watch his son's fight.
that's not surprising. Just because of their political ties.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, one day you meet with a quote-unquote dictator of Dagestan to then, taking pictures with Putin, so,
Well, yeah, that's true. But we all know the only fights on this card that people are excited about are Mousasi
right.
and McDonald and Silva and Rampage.
Oh, yeah.
And which one do you think is the main for this?
I would say Gegard and Rory, just because everybody loves Rory McDonald.
Well, especially after that fight with Lawler.
Right. And you also have the fact that Gegard Mousasi is talking so much shit, it's like not even funny. And he's going to be one of those guys who's really going to spark some interest, especially if he wins this fight. And I could see it, but Rory's a bad dude.
He can take a lot.
But that's the thing, he's taken a lot already.
That's true.
And Mousasi is a savage. He truly is. If you remember him in the UFC, it wasn't necessarily the reason why he left the UFC wasn't necessarily because, he wasn't a good fighter. It's because Dana White in booking the UFC.
Up.
It wasn't necessarily the reason why he left the UFC.
I just wanted to make sure we were sounding good.
Rookie. He wasn't a
I
good
made
fighter.
the mistake. I know, but you know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, man, I remember my first.
I just wanted to make sure we were.
Jesus.
Hey. So, all right. So let's just move on. Yes, I messed that up. All right, Bellator still. Then you got the undercard is starting at 8 o'clock.
I really don't give a fuck about the undercard.
Well, there's really nobody on the undercard that I know.
So that's the ups and downs of Bellator. So let's look at Bellator for a second as a company. They are doing what MLS has done and what other promotions have done to pretty much front load all their main card with talent that they know, which is fine, but it's older talent. Aaron Pico is probably the youngest guy on the main card.
It's the WCW method.
Right. And then everyone else is young as shit. So it's just one of those things as well that Bellator doesn't necessarily. They get respect, but then like WCW, it's the respect because of the talent that they have and their main talent, that they're already established, they've already been through wars, and now they're kind of recycling those wars.
I mean, they're proving it with this heavyweight Grand Prix tournament. I mean, October 12th is their next round, which is Mitrione versus Bader.
Oh, that's going to be a hell of a fight.
Then you got Fedor versus Shonen.
Chael Sonnen?
Yeah. So those fights are back-to-back, actually. Mm-hmm. One's on the 12th, one's on the 13th.
Right, which is smart.
Even though they're in completely different areas, Mitrione and Bader is taking place in Connecticut.
Okay.
Fedor and them's happening in New York, in Uniondale, New York.
Yeah, because that's a bigger fight. And they probably thought that they were going to have it on the same card. But depending on what happens, Chael, if he somehow miraculously beats Fedor, I don't see that happening. But
I don't either. I didn't even know that he fought heavyweight.
Yeah, so he was a light heavyweight for the longest of times, and then with his age, the weight cut's a little bit harder, so why not go to heavyweight?
That's true.
So
eat you an extra couple of Twinkies a night, and I mean, if he doesn't pan out as a fighter anymore, honestly,
he's fine doing podcasts, man.
or announcing, because he's great on a commentary table. He's that perfect heel.
Right, exactly. And him, along with Big John McCarthy, is phenomenal. I don't know.
Jay Glazer. They use Jay Glazer as well.
Yeah, especially for the big fights.
And haven't they used Morrow?
Yeah.
They have used Morrow every once in a while, put him cage side.
Right.
As you guys can see, we're cage side, kind of.
You're cage side of the JHP,
This is the-
KSB main stage here.
So before we get any further, I want to let everybody know you can go to Facebook now and just type in Hands of Justice Podcast and take us right. You will lead right to us.
And then you can also go to Instagram at hands_of_justice, as well as YouTube Hands of Justice. Look for our logo. And then on Mixcloud, which if you missed any of the action here from Facebook, you can go and listen in and take us wherever you go. And that the name or username for us is hands_of_justice.
Right, so there's no reason why you missed. So,
Right.
Bellator, good fight tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited.
If they would put this on TV instead of pay-per-view.
I think they're just trying this one out and seeing what they get.
Well, yeah, probably. Just seeing, like, in there. And plus, I think this Bangs Network or whatever it is, being whatever the name of this company is that's running this, they actually are running like a 30-day free special or 7 days.
Because I think they're going to try this for Fedor and Chael and Bader and Mitrione.
Which I think that's what made Bellator so great was the Spike TV aspect. You could watch all the fights.
And that's what I miss about the UFC, because they have so many good fighters. But you obviously know why that companies do this is because they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they need compensated for that shit.
So, what do you want to move to next?
I don't know.
We're going to save our top 5 still.
Yeah.
I think the top 5 we'll probably do here in about another 30 minutes.
I kind of want to talk about this one little ditty here, because I think this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. In Iceland, a tourist unwittingly joins search party for not a relative of hers, not for a friend of hers, no, for her fucking self.
How stupid do you have to really be?
I mean, come on. It says Asian traveler didn't recognize her own description, and when looking for herself, she was declared missing after changing clothes and not being recognized by fellow tourists. Like, what? How the fuck? Okay, one, your friends are shit, and the people you're traveling with, what the hell? You can't even recognize a person after they've changed clothes. What'd she do? Dress up in like her face was covered, or her entire body, and then she goes in booty shorts and a tank top, and you're like, what the hell? What just happened?
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing I could see. But you're in goddamn Iceland. It's cold as shit.
Right.
How are you gonna change? Oh God.
See, but that's the misperception. Iceland is actually green.
Right. But
Greenland's actually ice.
Right. And
It's still cold.
It's still cold as shit. But your point is well taken.
But it's just odd that we live in a society now where people are that stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
Which we got more news at the end of the show that will show you how stupid really people are.
Well, and then you also look at it, too. You have stupid fuckers that put phones in their vaginas.
Have sex with their second cousins at their grandma's funeral.
Exactly, so if you remember last show. And it just doesn't make any sense. People, why? I want somebody to let me know. Either on the Facebook page, message us, whatever. Why are people so goddamn stupid? Why? Makes no sense.
I got a notification real quick, and I thought somebody answered really that quick.
Oh, I was about to say, oh, the love. And also what kind of pisses me off is the people that, you know how in today's world and whatnot, people say, oh, I feel it. I feel it. You feel what? What the fuck are you feeling? Do you want to feel something? Oh, you want to feel a vibe, dude. Total vibes, man. Man, I get a good vibe from you, man.
That's that hippie thing.
That's the hippie shit, man. All right, I understand. Whatever. I get what you're trying to say, but come on. Really? James, enlighten me. What? Do you have an idea?
Of why people are this stupid?
Yeah.
I believe it's what they're putting in the food, or I'd hate to say it.
So now we're going to conspiracy theories.
Or I'd hate to say it, it's something that we use a lot of, which is social media,
Right.
phones.
Right.
This has made society physically and emotionally and just in general dumber.
Right.
Go on Twitter and just follow our president for about 3 days. You'll be on suicide watch. I guarantee it.
No, and so I went out to Germany, was it a year or so ago, year and a half ago, and it's funny how amazingly chill people are outside of the United States, and how literally they don't give a single fuck. Literally don't. And then you look at like people in the United States, oh my God, he said something about my butt and I am uncomfortable. It's not my safe space. It's not my safe space.
And that's where it's come to. But speaking of stuff around the world, did you see this thing over in Russia?
No.
A woman dumping bleach and water on men's laps.
Is there context in what for?
Manspreading.
What the fuck is manspreading?
Where we sit with our legs spread.
Right?
Because it sucks to sit.
Yeah, it hurts. You don't want your balls going like that together. It kinda,
Right.
Kind of
So
sucks.
this woman, what she does is she goes on the subways and the trains and the buses, and if a man's sitting there with his legs spread open, she's dumping a chemical of bleach and water on him.
But I don't understand.
But this is my question. If we did this, like, let's just say me and you got upset about a woman crossing her leg the way she did, and we dumped bleach on him, we're going to jail.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
We've seen men go to jail for a lot less.
You look in Russia. Do they give a fuck?
No.
Fuck no.
What are you talking about? In Russia, the women voluntarily send poop and naked pictures of themselves.
And if I was Putin, I'd be like, hey.
I'm gonna poop knit. So this is where we're at in society. That if let's just say a guy got chemical burn,
Right.
that's assault. Well, just by her dumping the bleach on him is assault.
But if I was that dude and she dumped bleach on my dick, I'd smack the Jesus out of her after it stopped stinging.
That's true. I would too. But the thing is,
I also don't condone domestic violence.
right? We're not Urban Meyer. We'll leave it at that.
Too soon.
Not too soon
Too
yet.
soon.
Which I do got some news about your Texas Longhorns.
Oh no.
Once we get into college football.
Oh no.
Because we're going to do 2 hours, so we got time to get in.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
So let's just switch gears. You weren't on Heel and Face Friday, so I didn't get your take about wrestling.
Wrestling.
So, Raw, SmackDown, did you watch any of it?
No.
Well, the deal is with now they're doing 30-minute segments with the Shield now.
Okay.
Then AJ and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe officially showed up at AJ's house.
All right, Randy Orton, Triple H.
Like they didn't show nothing. They just showed him ringing the doorbell and the camera cut.
And so they're going to wait until next week.
Or they're going to build it up because next Sunday or next week is the Super Showdown.
Right.
From Australia, which will be the no falls count. The falls count anywhere, no DQ BS.
AJ drops the belt. Okay.
Or, yeah, and this is the thing right now. People complain about WWE, which we do a lot.
Oh.
There's alternatives now. There's Impact is getting better. Impact just announced Tessa Blanchard versus Taya Valkyrie at Bound for Glory.
Booty for days.
And that right there is a huge matchup.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
So with that...
Wait, is Scarlett Bordeaux in that too?
You fucking perv. That's all I'm going to say. You're a pervert.
Hey, I would pay to see that match just me, myself, and I.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will be on YouTube somewhere or Facebook Live.
No. Nobody else around.
No one else around.
No fans. Just those three.
Then it came out yesterday, the news about Aiden English's wife, which I know you've seen pictures of Saul Guerrero. Mm-hmm. She has officially signed with Women of Wrestling.
Really?
The same company that Tessa Blanchard's been signed to is owned by Jenny Buss of the Lakers. Huh. It's going to be on Access TV, same as New Japan.
Nice.
So, now we get a Guerrero back in wrestling.
Which is awesome.
And it's not Vicky.
Thank God.
Excuse me! So this is getting interesting to the point where it's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, wrestling all around is getting a huge kick up, so...
You got the new Heart Foundation officially coming around.
Which we saw the recent...
You know that thing's up almost to 3,000 views now?
You're right. That recent promo from Brian Pillman Jr.
was phenomenal.
God. And he looks just like his dad.
I think he channeled his dad in that promo.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, for those that don't know, the new Hart Foundation is Teddy Hart, Davey Boy Smith Jr. with Pillman basically as the front man.
Right.
We just need a female.
Natalya leaves WWE.
That ain't never gonna happen. You know what? Let me tell you who would fit good if she ever left the WWE? Nikki Cross.
Yeah. Because
she's Nikki Cross, and I think it would be badass to have a psycho chick.
Which we haven't seen Nikki Cross in a while.
She's been doing house show loops.
Well, we haven't seen her.
Last night I got footage sent to me of Cesaro saving Cassius Ohno.
Oh, yeah.
From the Undisputed Era.
Ooh.
So maybe they're going to tease
a call up for Ohno, and because Sheamus is pretty much done, right?
Yeah, his neck is fried at this point.
Yeah, because he hasn't really been on TV in a long time, from what I've heard.
Well, when he is there, he's not taking big bumps. He's not.
No, because he has the edge issue.
He has the edge syndrome, is what I'm calling it. So this is going to be interesting when it's all said and done. We're going to officially get all reviews for WWE 2K by Monday.
Okay.
Because the game, if you got the premium or the Woo edition, you got it 4 days early.
Nice.
So a lot of people are already in on it. I have not watched any streams yet of it. I'm interested to see the big head mode. Like the old NBA Jam big head mode style.
Oh, that big head. Okay.
I think that's going to be one of the best features of the new game, honestly.
Did you like my joke?
See, this is what I got to deal with people when he calls me an amateur.
Hey, man. I feel it, man. I feel it.
I feel it, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know. I feel it.
So, this is going to get interesting. So, how was your concert? I did want to ask you.
Yeah, so for those of you who do not know, I went to the Starset Nothing More and the Fever 333 concert.
Which I've never heard of the Fever.
You probably have. You've probably heard some of their music. So they are hard, meaning metal as shit. And my God, were they awesome. Like, seriously, at one point, they were climbing up. So this is at Express.
So that's the picture you showed me of the dude up on the brick wall?
So he climbed, I shit you not, probably a 30-foot wall. He climbed up that and just goes ham. And at Express Live, they have two pillars that coincide with the speakers.
Right.
Both the lead guitarist and him were climbing that shit. And my God, these guys are phenomenal. Like, and he kept on going in the crowd. They were moshing with everyone at one point. Him and the lead guitarist were.
This sounds like a band I want to see.
Exactly. I mean, James, if they come back to Ohio, which is very, very possible, they are awesome. And then you had Nothing More as the
co-headliners.
And my God, that place was electric for Nothing More.
And the thing is about Nothing More, what people don't realize is they're not a traditional rock band.
No.
They have a lot of different drums they use.
Right. Well, and
lead singer's usually barefooted, shirtless.
And he was.
Usually.
Dude shredded as fuck, so, I mean.
He's allowed to be.
He's allowed to be. But, I mean, their style of music is just so awesome. And what people don't realize, especially with a song like Jenny and some of their other music, they write about what happened in their lives. Because Jenny is about his sister.
Right.
And, you know, it's a very hard tune. And even he still gets choked up about it. Even to this day.
Like, I love Jenny, but I didn't know what the song was about until you officially told me what it was about. And it makes you rethink the song.
Yeah, you listen to that song, and it's about denial. It's about drug addiction of his sister. And he still can't say she was addicted because it is so impactful to him, and it hurts him so much. And the lead singer of Nothing More is just an utter genius. They also do a lot of, like, their last song is usually a mix of, like, if you remember old Skrillex and, you know, a lot of beats, and they just go, because they don't do encores. Neither them nor Starset do, because they say it's fake.
Well, yeah. It's not what it used to be in the 70s and the 80s when the fans wanted an encore.
And so what they say is they go all out for the last song. If they have anything left, or even if they don't, they go all out to give the best experience, which I absolutely fucking love. Anyway, so their last song, they're banging on drums. They're messing with the like the Skrillex-esque kind of EDM stuff, and they are just utterly phenomenal. I've seen them twice now. And every time they come back to Ohio, I will be there.
Which I had seen them early in their career at Louder in Life. Yeah. Like, Jenny hadn't even been released at this point yet.
So, what I recommend to you and everybody else, watch them now.
I got their albums on Spotify. Yeah. I do listen to all their music.
Right.
While you were doing that, and after I did Heel and Face, I got to Fight the Fury. Have you heard of this band?
Yes.
The new band from Old Boy from Skillet.
Right.
This is some good stuff.
Well, it's hard, too.
I'm looking forward to the full album to actually be released.
Well, and that's what I said with Beartooth as well, because that's a band I want to see as well. Beartooth, and they released their album yesterday at midnight, but whatever. But in that, me and Thick Rick were talking about...
Name drop.
I know, right? We're talking about this, and oh my goodness. Well, if people don't know who Thick Rick is, then it's
if they're in Columbus, they know who Thick Rick is.
Right.
If they like the music we're talking about and they're in Columbus, they know who Thick Rick is.
But anyway, you know, we were talking about this, and Beartooth, Bad Listener, Disease, you know, all the rest of that album is just utterly phenomenal. Same with Fight the Fury. When that comes out, some of their singles already have been just...
Yeah, the first single that they released yesterday for Fight the Fury, I had that Slipknot feel to it.
Well, and here's the reason why they are no longer Skillet. Because the drummer and backup vocalist, we'll say, she started her own band called Ledger. And if you listen to the Blitz or listen to any rock station, you know... their song that's been out now for about a month or so. And her voice is gorgeous. It really is. And then you have Fight the Fury, which split half the band. So she took, I think, a guitarist, and then he and her being the drummer, and then he took another guitarist and him, and then...
Yeah, because he's the bassist.
Right.
He's always been the bassist of Skillet.
Right.
Even when they were horrible the first couple albums they released.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to the concert last night, Starset is... You've probably heard Starset.
Oh, I love Starset. I got
Right.
a couple of their albums on my phone.
Some people don't realize who they are, and then they hear some of their top hits, and you're like, that's Starset? And you're like, yeah. So they're more of like they're different. They're metal, and yet they're like a mix of Linkin Park and Slipknot and...
And Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. But Dustin, a really cool thing about him, he's the lead singer of Starset, and someone I met actually through my workings here. And he is the coolest dude, but quiet. He doesn't like to talk on stage. He loves to sing, obviously, but he doesn't like to talk on stage. The only reason why he talked so much last night is because Starset is from Columbus.
Yes. And at one point, I think he was dating Tess or somebody that worked at the Blitz.
I'm not sure.
Or somebody in the band did at one point date somebody on the Blitz.
I'm not sure. But Dustin is just the coolest dude, most down-to-earth dude you've ever met, and the most quiet guy. And for a lead singer, me and my buddy were talking about this, for a lead singer to be that quiet is almost unheard of.
Yeah, because they want to be out like a Corey Taylor.
Right.
The only person that you see might be quiet a lot might be old boy from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't talk much, but when he's on stage, it's a completely...
Well, it took Dustin 30 to 45 minutes to say his first word in not a singing forum. And they had like an hour and a half set. So it
was kind of a star set, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was kind of a star set, wasn't it?
Leave the jokes to me, James.
Right. I have to sometimes be a very punny guy because of who I work with.
Well, basically, it wasn't very funny.
So, we got 20 minutes. You want to do our top 5?
20 minutes.
Well, until the end of the first hour.
Yeah, okay.
So, we didn't get any tweets or anything like that about everybody else's list. So, we're going to give... we're still early. This is only episode 2.
I'm hurt.
I mean, even Rome wasn't built in a day.
I mean,
unless they had aliens helps.
You want to get conspiracy theories, man. I tell you. All right. Anyway, yeah. Let's get to our list.
All right. So at number 5, what do you got?
This is probably gonna surprise some people, but I love this movie a lot. And number 5 for me is Cinderella Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no problem with that, which I'm going to probably get crap for my number 5 favorite boxing movie. I enjoyed Southpaw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, is it as good as Ali and them? No, but the story behind it is just as good.
Yeah.
So at number 5, I'm actually going to put Southpaw.
Okay.
And so at number 4, we're going to kind of do this a little different. I'll go 4 this time.
Right.
At number 4... It's a tough one because you're getting into like a lot of crazy movies. I'm going to put $1 Million Baby.
Okay.
At number 4.
For me, it's going to be The Fighter.
The Fighter. Is that the one with
Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg?
Is that the one about
Mickey Ward?
That's what I thought. So, what's your number 3? Now we're getting into the tough ones.
Yeah, and so I'm scrolling through here, looking at all kind of like the all-time boxing movies and whatnot that I've seen, and some that I haven't seen. And one that definitely caught my eye, because one that I've seen, and this is an older movie, not what you're thinking probably. My number 3 is Raging Bull.
See, I actually had that at number 3. That's where I was going with that at number 3, because the top 2 is kind of going to be one of those 1-2.
Right. And also, let's preface this by saying we cannot say any Rocky movie more than once.
Right. So if you guys are saying, well, what the fuck? You guys are doing boxing, haven't mentioned a Rocky movie whatsoever. Right. Where is it at? To me, number 2 is Ali. With Will Smith, I enjoyed the movie. I know I'm missing like Denzel's Hurricane, stuff like that. But I am putting that Ali at number 2 because I believe it was a really great movie.
Number 2.
And these are personal preferences.
Yeah.
Because once we get to number 1, you'll probably know why it's a personal preference thing.
Right.
It's a toughie one.
It's a tough one because there's so many, and I forgot about that movie, but it's not a top 5 movie. So real quick, I'm gonna say an honorable.
What about Teen Wolf 2? Because there was boxing in it.
So if you ever get a chance to watch this documentary, it's a UK documentary called Knuckle, and it truly is a great movie or documentary about UK, bare knuckle fighting and Elizabethan kind of fighting as well. I will say, for me, I will agree with Ali as number 2.
Now that you sit and look at the list.
Yeah, I'm looking through and
I'm actually surprised you don't have like $1 Million Baby on it.
I just wasn't a big fan of $1 Million Baby. Now, I'm not saying it's not a bad movie. It's definitely in my top 10, but not in my top 5.
So, in number 1, are we in agreement? Rocky 4?
Yes.
Personal preference, Rocky 4 to us is the best Rocky movie that we enjoy.
Now, I would say Rocky 3 is definitely up there, but again, we're not doing...
All 4 of the Rockies. I almost said all 5.
Here's my only problem. 1 is not my favorite. I do not like 1.
Well, I think a lot of people don't like 1, the ending of 1.
Yeah. And then 2 is... Like, I was switching back between 4 and 2. Because 3 is an obvious one, but it's still, I don't know. I would say it's the third out of the 4, and then 2 and 4 back to back. But 4 was just so iconic and just had so much into it with Apollo dying, with Ivan Drago, with the mental side of the fight for Rocky. And then if you also look at Rocky 5. When he is like out after that fight.
Right, when he's in the shower.
And he's like, when you've literally fought so hard that you feel like something's broke inside. And you're just like, wow.
And they brought that up in the new Creed trailer.
Right.
Because if you've been living under a rock, Creed 2 is getting ready to come out.
Right.
Which the setup for Creed 2 is that it's Apollo Creed's son versus Ivan Drago's son.
Right.
So Ivan Drago will be back, and there's a scene in the trailer where Rocky's telling him, you don't want to take this fight.
Right.
Because that man broke stuff in me they still haven't fixed.
Right.
And they're going back to the brain damage aspect of it.
Right.
And I think this is like a callback for people like me and you that love Rocky 4 so much.
Right.
That they're like, let's kind of hook them in by giving them Ivan again.
See, I still have to see the first one.
I was actually impressed with the first one. I enjoyed it more than what I thought I was going to.
See, for me, I just get so damn busy that I forget to watch it. I have it ready to go. I just have to watch it.
Like, it's one of those movies where you're like, it's like Southpaw for me. Like, when I first saw the trailer for Southpaw, I think I was at like an X-Men or Superman and Batman movie.
Right.
And they showed the trailer. I was like, other than Jake Gyllenhaal got really ripped for this movie. I'm like, the story, I'm just like, eh.
He got super hood.
Right. And he's like, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
But then once you got into the movie, you're like, all right, this is kind of.
And you're like, Rachel McAdams.
Until,
damn.
Spoiler alert, until she dies.
Where's Rachel?
But the movie alone was really good. The story, the fighting in it was really good.
Real quick, have you looked at that clock?
Yeah.
It goes up to about, the 8, and then falls back down.
Well, I'm not paying attention to it that much. Okay, I just saw it. I just randomly looked up and saw it. If I had the tripod lever on me right now, I'd actually show you guys, but I'm afraid it's going to mess up my graphic that we got built.
Right.
So, the top 5, if you are watching it or watching at a later date, you can always send us your top 5.
All right, we'll post our top 5 to our Facebook page here after the show.
By the end of the night, we'll have it up.
Yep.
Then on top of that, next week we're going to do a top 5.
Yep.
Do you want to switch it up instead of doing movies or sports, do something music?
Sure.
Top 5 controversial songs.
Okay.
We already know what number 1's going to be.
Is it Carly Rae Jepsen?
Call Me Maybe?
Call Me Maybe.
What's so,
Hey, man, it's the place of the women, man. What? Why should women wait to be called, man?
I believe number 1 is going to be Cop Killer. By Ice-T, still a song that you can't really find.
No, you can't find it anywhere.
Or we'll release a video on Monday or something describing our top 5.
Right.
Or we'll put a post up. Something. We'll do something by then. So we got 10 minutes till the top of the second hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get this news story about your guys' offense coordinator down in Texas.
Okay.
He is going to miss the Kansas State game today because of an infection.
Okay.
That's all they're saying.
AIDS.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh,
Damn,
sorry.
You went dark real quick.
Whoops. Sorry, guys.
He's expected to return to the team on Sunday.
Right.
This article was today on ESPN. Does this affect the Longhorns?
No.
Especially coming off a big win last week.
Kansas State is trash. Also, Tom Herman, one of the best offensive minds in college football. I'm not worried.
Okay, so I figured you'd give me a little bit more than that.
Well, and all right. So you look at.
I felt like I was talking to Urban Meyer for a second. Just give me like a real quickie.
Well, that's what Jerry Sandusky said.
Hey.
Whoops. Too soon? You heard on that one, James?
I'm still not hurt on that one.
All right. Anyway, if you look into this, so Tom Herman, one of the best offensive minds in college football. Yes? No? One of the. I'm not saying the.
Yes.
Currently, yes. So with that, his offensive coordinator just basically stays with the wide receivers, running backs, and kind of more the up, or not offensive linemen, just what's that term called? With wide receivers and running backs.
The committee?
Never mind. just never mind. Anyway, so with this, he stays with the marquee players that are going to go and receive the ball from the quarterback. Tom Herman stays with the quarterback room because that's his shtick. He was in JT Barrett's ear the entire time he was here at Ohio State. And then he
was in Cardell's for that championship run.
Exactly. So he's going to stay with Sam Ehlinger. Now, their offense is a lot of RPOs, a lot of read option, a lot of, short passes, and then every once in a while hit a long bomb. But this team is such a one that you can almost plug and play offensive coordinators. Because who's really calling the offense who really is calling the game is Tom Herman. He's very much like Urban Meyer in that standpoint.
He has the offensive coordinators maybe suggest plays.
Right.
But an ultimate decision when it comes down to it, Herman's making that call.
7 times out of 10, he'll go with the offensive coordinator.
Because that's what you're paying these guys to do.
But every once in a while, he'll say, no, I want to do this. Then you look at Kansas State. Bill Snyder is a legend.
Without question.
Without question. He has done more with less.
He got a stadium named after him before he retired.
Right. He's done more with less than any other coach. He's the if you're going to look at a, quintessential coach, it is Bill Snyder, who has done it the right way for 40 plus years, who's done it with JUCO transfers, with 1- and 2-star recruits. He's coached them up to be great. Look at Connor Klein, who used to be their starting quarterback. He was a linebacker in JUCO, and then switched when he came to Kansas State, started for Kansas State, and won the Big 12. Or damn near won the Big 12. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Right.
But he's done so much with less that you respect Kansas State, but do they have anything for Texas this week? Hell no. Texas had that one hiccup against Maryland, which I don't know why Texas always stubs their toe.
First game of the year?
Maybe. But then they come out to
Well,
USC.
A lot of it could have been the Big Ten is known for defense when in the last couple of years, the Big 12
Offense.
is not known for defense.
It could be that. You also look, then they come out for USC. Beat them 34-17. Tulsa, that was a close game, but that was the second game of the season, so there's still some kinks. Then the USC. And then you go to TCU and whoop on the Horned Frogs, who had a big letdown game
against Ohio State.
How
much of the mindset of the Horned Frogs was back on that game?
Because here's the thing. You get yourself so hyped for Ohio State, and then what happens? You lose. You get blown out. You feel bad for TCU, but I feel damn proud of Texas. Now, if Texas can keep on winning, I think the USC game was a huge turning point game. Because this is a young team who needed that confidence booster, who needed that little oomph.
The oomph?
Yeah, to really do something and to show that they are supremely talented.
Do you think Texas has what it takes to beat an Oklahoma?
I do, because they've done it before with less.
You're talking about Colt McCoy era?
Well, Colt McCoy, and then you also look at a couple of years ago, it might have been last year. No, it was the year before last.
2 years ago, yeah.
When they beat Baker Mayfield, uber talented team, and they beat them with Tyron Swoops.
That's true. And wasn't who was the running back that year?
Foreman.
Okay.
Who had damn near 2,000 yards.
So speaking of Oklahoma, now that I brought it up, they're not going to start Murray this week.
Right.
They're starting Kendall over Baylor.
Right.
Which.
Because was there a reason why?
It doesn't say. It just says there's been speculation since Friday that Murray wouldn't start for unknown reasons.
Which tells me either injury or coaching staff doesn't like him.
Or he did something off the field that hasn't came out to the press yet.
Right.
Then we got the news about the quarterback, the senior quarterback from Clemson is going to transfer.
I mean, and that's that rule of you play 4 games and then you can redshirt. So I don't see a problem with that, especially when you're trying to give somebody a chance. So,
but look at this is what I'm trying. This is where people are not understanding. All right, both quarterbacks, right? Lawrence is taking the job, which is a freshman.
Right.
He has his total QBR is 87. He's got a 65% complete percentage. He's 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions.
Right.
Bryant has a 40 QBR.
Right.
With a 66 percentage, but his pass to TD interception, his TD to interception ratio is 2-1.
Right.
And when you're Clemson at this point, with the ACC, you got to be able to win because you got Miami is putting up a stiff defense like they did against North Carolina.
A nice stiffy.
Then you got Florida State. You never know when they're going to come out of nowhere.
Right. I don't think it's this year.
Well, no, I don't think it's this year, but they could have that upset at some point.
Yeah. I mean, Kelly Bryant, you look at it, and even Dabo said, they looked at the writing on the wall, and you know what you have from Kelly Bryant. And you know you have an uber talented freshman quarterback.
Right.
And you see more of an upside with this freshman than you do Kelly Bryant. So why not give him the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, or not benefit of the doubt, give him the option to leave transfer and still have that year to play. Dabo's doing a stand-up job. Because Dabo could have said, no, you're starting one more game.
Right. Could have just been an ass about it. Yeah.
Totally fucked him over, but he didn't.
So with college football right now, Alabama's up 35-0 on Louisiana. Just starting the second, Texas A&M's up 14-0 over Arkansas.
Not surprised.
Well, no, Arkansas. Look who they got beat by.
Yep.
Michigan State is up 7-3 on Central Michigan. Yeah, you heard me right. Clemson is up by a point on Syracuse right now.
Yeah. Well, Syracuse is undefeated, and this has always been a trip-up game for Clemson.
Then West Virginia, end of the first quarter, is up 28-7 on Texas Tech. And it just showed Greer just hit a nice touchdown pass to his wide receiver.
Now, this is a game that you need to watch because Will Greer is a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Potentially first-round pick.
First overall pick.
Depending on who's picking at number 1.
Right. Texas Tech plays out of their minds at home. Like, they're better than any home team in Lubbock. And you look at what West Virginia and Will Greer are doing to this team, and Texas Tech isn't a slouch. They're 3-1. So, I mean, they're playing well.
That's just the games that are on now, but we're going to discuss I got a couple more that we want to bring up. The big game tonight is going to obviously be Stanford, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Whatever.
Wait, you don't mean South Carolina and Kentucky?
Now, I think that's going to be a really good game.
4-0 Kentucky versus 2-1 South Carolina.
No, it's and the thing is about Kentucky is their running back is out of his mind.
I haven't watched very many of his games now. I have a lot of family that lives in Kentucky. Pike Bowl strong.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks.
That makes sense.
So, I always have a soft spot for Kentucky.
Which, Penn State, Ohio State, Stanford, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Now you switch it.
Yeah.
Then Kentucky and South Carolina. Those are all 7:30 kickoffs.
Then you have Oregon and Cal.
LSU, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But this is the test of that LSU team with Burrows down there.
Well, I think Joe's gonna be fine. I think another game that I'm really interested in is Michigan Northwestern. Can Northwestern wake up and, this could be an upset in and of itself is Northwestern beating Michigan.
If it happens that way, yeah.
Yeah. But they need to wake the fuck up. Because they played really well kind of well against Purdue. But they've looked so lackluster since.
I mean, another game that we didn't bring up, Washington and BYU.
That's always a good game.
I mean, that is a 9 o'clock. That is a 8:30 kickoff. Then you got USC, Arizona.
Is that at BYU or is that?
That's at Washington.
Oh, it doesn't really matter.
That one, but the one that does matter, Stanford has to travel.
To Notre Dame.
Right, number 8 versus number 7.
Okay.
So you got 4 and 9 playing each other, 7 and 8. These two games could shake up the top 10.
Well, and here's the thing about Ohio State, Penn State. So you look at it here. This is going to really tell how good Dwayne Haskins is.
How good McSorley really
how
is.
Good McSorley is. And even without Nick Bosa, this is going to show how dominant that defensive line is.
I mean, from all the betting odds that we've seen, it's a pick'em game.
Yeah. I think the spread's now like 3 points or something like that.
Well, I think, yeah, but that might be just because it's a home game.
For Penn State, yeah.
And that's the thing we find out about Haskins. He's never really played in this kind of environment.
Penn State has the edge at 52% chance to win, but Vegas says OSU minus 3.5.
Apparently now Ohio State's getting criticism for a message of silence tweet.
Message of silence.
I have no idea. It was before we understand why people are critical. This had something to do. I'm looking at it now. It says right here, the team's football account shared a graphic ahead of its top 10 matchup at number 9 Penn State this Saturday featuring the word, silence the white noise. It was eventually deleted.
Was it by Shelley?
Shelley, that one did come down.
Yeah.
And that's only because they're upset over the Urban Liar shirts.
Right.
But you know what? This is football.
It's football.
I mean, how many times you being a Texas fan, you see an Oklahoma fan have a derogatory shirt on about?
Even when Texas was up here, Ohio State had a shirt that says Texas can't hold him or Texas can't hook him, and it was the wide receiver core with Ted Ginn, Holmes, Gonzalez, and all that. So
either way, this is going to be the
game, by the way.
That's true. This game, either way, is going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
You got two great running backs, not great for Penn State, but putting up numbers.
Could be great.
McSorley is McSorley.
Right.
You give him time, he's going to eat up a secondary that has shown weaknesses already.
That's the question, though. I have a lot of questions about Penn State's offensive line.
That's been a question since Franklin's came in, though.
He can't really recruit offensive line because he couldn't do it at Vanderbilt. Hasn't been able to do it here at Penn State.
So, who do you think wins that game?
Ohio State.
What do you think the score is going to be? Because we're getting ready to move into NFL before we get to our fucked up news because I got like 6 of them, so I got to save time for this.
31-27 Ohio State.
Okay, that's not. I thought you were going to go way worse. I think this is going to be 28-21.
Ohio State?
No.
Oh.
Don't you dare, you fucker. You know me better than that.
You never bet against Penn State. I'm sorry, State Penn.
I have won.
Oh yeah.
Once. And actually, when I bet against them, that was the year 2 years ago that they came into the shoe and won.
Oh, that game.
That was right. That was the one time I bet against them.
See, those who know me know I'm not an Ohio State fan per se, but I enjoy OSU athletics and am also sad from whenever they lose. So I'm not a fan because hook 'em. But I do. There's some semblance of empathy for Ohio State.
Then I didn't bring this up until now. Last night, LSU basketball player lost his life in a shooting.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've already got a suspect and arrested him.
Yep, which is good. And
out in front of a Subway.
Hey man, you gotta eat. Who's that Subway guy? Jerry or something? Jared. Well, he's gonna be joining him and Bill Cosby in prison.
I did see that picture where it says Shawshank Redemption 2 looks dope. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of hate mail.
Right. I mean, listen, Shawshank Redemption 2, Jared and Bill Cosby, man. That's going to be a good one.
The pudding pop.
I saw this one meme that was somebody dropped the soap, and then it was Bill Cosby going...
I think it was the scene from Half Baked.
Yeah.
All right, so NFL.
Okay.
Let's switch. Your 1 o'clock games. I'm going to just run them down, and you tell me just who you think. Cincinnati, Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Tampa, Chicago.
Chicago.
Detroit, Dallas.
Dallas.
Buffalo, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
That could be a trap game, though, after what Buffalo did.
Green Bay saw what Minnesota tripped up on, and Green Bay's like, nah, fam.
Philly, Tennessee.
Philly.
Houston, Indianapolis. Houston.
Indy.
You're really going to pick against me on that one. You think Indy can beat that Houston defense?
I think it's... Don't sleep on Indy, man.
I'm not sleeping on Indy. I just don't think Luck is the same Luck from 2 years ago.
No, I would agree, but he's still damn good. So I would say Indy's got that.
Here's your trap game. Miami, New England. After what we just saw Detroit do to New England.
I would say Miami.
Tom Brady's looking old.
Wait, is Josh Gordon playing?
I have not seen otherwise, and I believe this is the last game before Edelman comes back.
I'll stick with Miami.
All right, New York Jets versus Jacksonville. Oakland, Cleveland. You're gonna go with my Browns on this one.
Because I think this is gonna be Baker's first start, and I think with this, Baker's gonna come out like a lightning rod
Against a team that's got no pass rush,
right.
which John Gruden has said every game they get a chance, it's hard to find a good pass rush in the NFL.
Oh wait, you had one dickhead.
Right, Seattle, Arizona.
I think Seattle.
Who's the starting quarterback for Arizona? Is it Bradford?
Rosen ended the game last week, so I would assume it's Rosen.
New Orleans, Giants. This is for our boy Eldre.
New Orleans.
You're gonna go. I feel that too.
Yeah.
San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chargers. But it couldn't be the Rams because the Rams play Thursday night.
They kicked the shit out of them.
Which that's a whole. We're gonna talk about that after we finish this up.
Right.
The Chargers because of Jimmy G going down.
Yeah, and they just, the air left that balloon.
Yeah.
So.
They overpaid for Jimmy G. I would have gave him a franchise tag.
And now they have CJ Beathard.
Which he didn't do bad before they traded for Jimmy G.
Right.
Then we got the late night primetime game on Sunday. Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
Oh, no. See, my dad being...
This is the trap game right here.
My dad being a diehard Browns fan, and I don't know if I could do that. Could pick Baltimore. I can't. I'm tie.
You're going to go with a tie?
Yeah.
This hurts me to say it, but I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. Only because they're playing at Pittsburgh.
Right.
And that team...
Wouldn't it be funny if it was a tie?
That would be kind of funny. Then the Monday night game. Kansas City at Denver.
Kansas City.
Mahomes is on fire.
He's my homies.
He's Mahomes.
See, that's how you do a punt.
So let's go back to the Monday night game.
All right.
Jared Goff, 465 yards.
And guess whose fantasy team he was on?
Did you actually play him?
Yup.
We had
51.8 points.
Do you know Diane, the administrator here? She had Goff, right?
Yeah.
But it was she didn't set her lineup. She had Minnesota's defense, which gave her -3 points, and Goff was on the bench.
Oh, how terrible.
You had Todd Gurley, 83 yards rushing, and Cooper Kupp, 162 yards receiving.
So, on this fantasy league, I had Jared Goff and Adam Thielen on my team and starting.
Thielen?
Yeah, so Goff had 51.3 points, and Thielen had 23.5 points. And
yeah,
I am happy.
I mean, it's even Kirk Cousins was out of his mind.
Yeah.
36 for 50, 422, 3 touchdowns.
Right. But you can't beat 5 tutties.
It's hard, and he threw them 5 touchdowns, I believe, in the first half.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because it shows here the Rams had 7 and 3. So he had 4 in the first half.
4 and then probably 1 in the second.
He had 1 in the third quarter, which they only scored 10 points in the third quarter. It was a good game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a 6-point game or a 7-point game when it was all said and done.
Right.
Everybody thought this game was going to end up being a blowout before the end of it.
Right.
But somehow the Vikings kind of...
Shed a brick.
Basically.
Yeah.
But the Rams did lose Aqib Talib.
For the season.
Well, they're saying he could possibly be available for later in the season.
Right. But what I would do is have him sit out all the regular season, have him come back in the postseason if that's the case.
And I think Bama just pulled the dick move on Hurt.
Why?
He started the 5th game. So he can't redshirt now.
Right.
Nick Saban pulled the dick move. Because it had come out, remember that Hurt was possibly thinking about transferring to Auburn.
Right. Which would be a great fit.
And he's like, nah, not today, bruh.
No.
We're going to switch it up, and we're going to let you start.
Well, here's the thing. So Jalen Hurts still has one more year. And he can, because he's already graduated.
He could do the Russell Wilson route.
Right. Or he will graduate in December. I can't remember.
He could play the Russell Wilson.
He's only a junior.
Yeah.
And so what, I mean, Nick Saban, he's going to do this. He's going to keep Hurts just because you never know.
About Tua,
and never know what a game's going to bring. And so maybe if, something shakes down that he needs a running quarterback, Jalen's right there.
Or he needs that veteran that has been there before. Right. So, it's about 1:15. You want to get into the news, don't you? You've been waiting.
We need to get like a sound that says news.
I'll figure something out by next week.
Or say the fucking news.
Which I could probably find something. So, Janitor who worked at sperm bank.
Oh, no.
Suspected of fathering 20,000 children over a 20-year period. Where do you think this happened? It did not happen in the United States. I'll give you at least that much.
England.
Toronto.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Okay, that makes sense because the mayor of Toronto was on coke for the longest time. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Actually, 22,000 children to be exact. We cannot confirm. This is what the DNA analysis, this is what the police said. We cannot confirm precisely how many births have resulted from his manipulations with registered sperm donor specimens before proper DNA analysis is performed. He kept bragging that half the clinic's babies were his, one former coworker told reporters when reached by phone. He's facing as low as 18 months or up to 3 to 5 years in prison.
Damn.
For having 22,000 children playing with other people's sperm, you get 18 months.
Not bad.
Up to 3 years? Well, he going to get a lot of sperm in 3 to 5 years, though.
Hey, Toronto, I have one question for you. Who's your daddy?
Apparently, this guy is. So, then this one, I'm going to just straight say it. This is Ohio.
Okay.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
Babysitter transported to hospital after inserting a baby in her vagina.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
It was a 14-month-old toddler that she tried to shove in her vagina.
Wait, like child porn?
Like, I don't know. Like, she tried to insert it. The little boy wore diapers and pajamas, but he had his leg and abdomen stuck in the woman.
I have no words. I have no words.
Even the doctors is like, I don't even know how she got a child in there.
Hubert Farnsworth from Futurama?
Yeah.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
That's that story.
I have no words other than that.
We got, out of this headline, we got 2 more, and I'm pretty sure maybe I can find like a weird science one or entertainment. FBI seizes over 3,000 penises during a raid at a morgue employee's home.
So basically, here's what's going on. The morgue is probably, who's it run by? Male or female?
Male.
Okay.
In Harris County.
So he's probably a little bit of necrophiliac. And
3,100 penises, a little bit.
And probably just, wanted to, or maybe he was just curious of what would happen. So he wants to experiment with different sizes. And so, yeah, there you go.
He had been cutting them off and collecting them for more than 10 years. They said he kept them on a shelf and formaldehyde.
Yeah.
So he wanted to keep them preserved at least.
But what was he doing with them?
It doesn't say what he was doing with them.
Maybe they were just trophies. Like, hey, I morticianed the shit out of this dude. Yeah.
He's got a psychiatric evaluation.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Novel idea to give him a psych eval. Wow. No shit, Sherlock.
It took the FBI evidence response team 6 hours to collect the evidence.
Look, think about this though. If you are the guy collecting the evidence, you are touching so many dicks. Like you are physically hand touching somebody else's dick that's dead.
Right?
How fucked is that? And you're just like, I quit. I would be like, nope, I'm done. Can't.
I bet you that was a schlong day. See, now you have to give me that one. That one was a good one.
It was pretty good.
Exactly. So here's the third one. Morgue employee. Once again, a morgue.
All right, morgues make the creepiest fuckers.
Take a state. Just take a guess. It's in the South.
Alabama.
Texas. Beaumont, Texas.
I was actually thinking Texas, but I was.
Morgue employee cremated by mistake while taking a nap.
I feel like that happens though, because you want to be in a nice, cool environment. You know, you want to go inside, and I don't know why you would go in the cremation. I don't know, kind of like what do you want? Do you want to be warm or what? I mean, I don't know.
Before they even could notice the mistake, he was already exposed to temperatures between 1,400 to 1,800 degrees.
Now, or let's think about this conspiracy theory. Let's put our conspiracy theory hat on. What if the person who accidentally cremated this dude? What if they're like, this guy's a fuckface. I don't necessarily like him.
All we know is the person that did this on an accident, she had just started. She was a new employee and forgot to check the toe tag before to make sure that he had the right body.
Right. All right. So that, I mean, yeah, all right.
So their investigators have not ruled out the possibility of filing criminal charges against the employee who caused death.
I mean, I would think you can't prove anything.
The young man could possibly be accused of criminal negligence causing death.
Right.
How about don't sleep in a freaking crematorium fucking thing? Wouldn't that be your first clue? I'm tired. Let me, I didn't know my boss was sleeping, but he was a dick anyways. All right, I found another one. Did we talk about Sasquatch?
No.
Apparently in Colorado, the state that weed is legal,
okay,
a hunter claims he was sexually assaulted by Sasquatch.
Or he was tripping balls and felt like he was getting raped by nothing.
Oh, another morgue one.
That's 3 today.
Right. Morgue, and this is in Kansas City.
Okay.
A 26-year-old morgue worker was arrested this morning after a DNA test revealed that her newborn child was a result of necrophiliac intercourse.
What? Wait, read that again.
It says Jennifer Burrows, an assistant pathologist with the Jackson County Medical Examiner Services, is accused of having sex with dozens of corpses over the course of the last 2 years, a behavior which led to the birth of a baby boy on January 7th. She had sex with 60 other dead bodies belonging to males between 17 to 71.
But, wait, what? But what? What the hell? So basically what you're saying is, dead or alive, you can have a kid. Man, and you get out scot-free too, because you're like, oh, I'm dead, so...
No child support.
No child support, Cholo.
She is facing a total of 158 charges, including indecent treatment of a corpse,
Right.
disorderly conduct, indecent exposure, and possession of illegal drugs.
Alright, well that makes sense why she's fucking, dead bodies, but does it make sense how the dead bodies release their shiznit? It doesn't make sense. So, but, who knows? Who knows anymore?
But she is registered a plea of insanity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it does really make sense. Like, if a woman's having sex with that many dead bodies,
right?
she ain't right.
No. And it's probably the drugs.
Well, depending on the drug. Like, the one story almost caught me, but I remember we talked about that story last week.
Oh, did you hear a former manager of DoD Aerospace Threat Program says UFOs are real?
Is it confirmed, though? Oh, my God. This is a Florida story.
Well, people in Florida are fucking weird.
Choir boy survives deadly snake bite after priest sucks venom out of genitals.
Oh, yeah. Great excuse. Wait, are they Catholic?
Catholic Church, yes.
Huh. Seems a little too fishy for me there, James. Sounds like that preacher just wanted to make a little bit of headlines, but didn't want to necessarily do it for the wrong reason. But it turned out to be the wrong reason there.
All right, this is another one. I'm finding all kinds.
All right.
New Jersey.
All right.
A New Jersey man convicted of having incestual relationships with his 17-year-old daughter and sentenced to 5 years in prison has asked the judge to let him have conjugal visits with his daughter.
What is wrong with people?
And this is what he said. I've raised her since she was a little girl. She is the most precious thing in my life. We have much affection for each other. And this is what his attorney said. My client and his daughter have both shown their interest in pursuing their love affair in a few months when she will reach legal age, as consensual incest between people 18 years or more is perfectly legal in the state of New Jersey. So we know in New Jersey it's okay to have sex with your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, whatever you want. It explains the Jersey Shore guys a lot now.
Oh, yeah. But what the hell? Why can't you just be fucking normal, people? You know who I blame?
Cell phones.
I blame the food. I think people are poisoning the food. I think that's what it is. And that people are putting all these like chemicals and shit in it. And what's causing everyone to be fucking...
Oh, who's the conspiracy theory guy now?
No, that's fine. But I think people are like doing that. Or just somehow there's a chemical imbalance. And so maybe it's not meant to be. But some of the chemicals that we use causes some people in our brains to kind of change and whatnot. And then you get kind of this weird goings-ons. And it may not be like scientifically accurate, but it could very well explain just because of the chemicals that are used. Like I said, changes kind of the mental state of it.
All right, then this one, last two, you're going to get a kick up.
All right.
Hold on, sending that. Drunk driver accused of swallowing a breathalyzer to avoid arrest. State, and city. I'm a little embarrassed.
Columbus?
Cleveland.
That doesn't surprise me.
Was
it after a Browns game?
It doesn't give a date here. I'm looking to see. Yeah, it does not give a date here.
So here's one that's kind of really funny because this dude looks like Jeff Jarrett. But man gets revenge on landlord by painting insulting new name on fish and chip shop sign after rent argument.
What did he put on the sign?
Get ready. What the hell? No, what the hell? Hold on. It says greedy landlord.
That's what he spray painted?
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta be more original.
Or greedy, no, I can't. Yeah.
That story you think is better than the guy swallowing a breathalyzer to avoid DUI?
I didn't say it was better. I didn't say it was better, I'm just saying.
And this is the thing. The accused pretended he was going to breathe in, but then he grabbed it and put it in his mouth and swallowed it whole. That's what she said. As soon as he swallowed it, he started taunting the officers. He kept repeating he was invincible, that they couldn't accuse him of anything.
I mean, they really can't, other than he's a fucking psycho.
They did the blood test. Apparently, he blew an alcohol content of 0.46, which is 5 times the legal allowed limit.
5 times. 5 times.
He has been convicted twice of DUI. Surprise, surprise. Then, this one will actually make you cringe. Woman arrested for leaving children in the car for 9 hours while she was at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
So, Dan Goodman?
It was in Richmond, and it was Golden Corral.
Hey, man, you gotta give it up to Golden Corral. You know, tasty food there, pretty cheap prices. But what the fuck?
This 400-pound woman arrived around 11 a.m. when the police arrived on the site at 8:20 at night.
I mean, come on. Do you really? If you're 400 fucking pounds, why do you need food?
Like, you got servers saying she was there during the whole 8 hours she worked. They're like, I must have picked up at least 60 plates from her table.
What the hell? Like, this is... that's another issue of society. It's just people overeating. Yes, I understand you're hungry and whatnot, but control yourself. Just because there's food doesn't mean you should eat it.
That's very true. Hunter nearly killed by brutal sexual assault from a 1,200-pound moose.
You know,
I don't even need to tell you what even country or anything, because moose are only in really one country.
Right. Well, a mix of here in Canada.
This was in Ontario.
Yeah. So...
Because I clicked sports, and that's the first thing that popped up.
That moose probably thought it was a sport. But no, like, that's not... this isn't the first
Did he
time
give him the pudding pop?
He probably, dropped the soap or something, or dropped his bow. Can't do that. No, but, this isn't the first time I've heard of this. It's moose.
The moose might have got tired of white privilege.
Yeah.
Because it was a white dude.
Yeah, he's like, I feel it, dog. I feel the pain of everyone. I just want to fuck your white privilege.
I'm just sitting here. Go ahead. Oh, wow. Japanese whaling crew eaten alive by killer whales. 16.
Talk about someone getting tired of somebody's privilege.
Right?
That whale's probably like, don't like that. Don't like this at all. You guys are killing my friends, my family. Bet I'm going to get you some. I'm going to get you some, son.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yay.
Pregnant teen seeks 13 paternity test after gangbang with football team.
So, you fucks.
And it's the Ohio State players at that. I don't know if this is a credible website, World Daily News Report, but a lucky member of the Ohio State Buckeyes football team could be the unexpected father of the conceived during a late-night party, which turned into an orgy 7 weeks ago.
1, what the hell? 2,
what the hell?
What the hell? And 3, if you are a girl who goes through an orgy and then gets pregnant, I don't know what to say other than, you wanted to have sex with all those dudes. Plus the dudes, why are you wanting to have sex with a girl who wants to have an orgy? And 3,
Why isn't this on 10 TV right now? I'm just saying. This is like one of those.
I don't know, man. I just think it's so fucking weird.
And her last name is enough. They actually give her full name. Jessica H. Cockburn.
God damn it.
I wish I could be making... If this news site is not credible, I'm going to be upset.
Right.
But you know what? She said, I'm not the same person I was before. I've learned my lesson. I believe what it takes to be a mom.
You probably had 10 dudes in there, huh? I mean, come on. Yeah, you're definitely not the same.
If you're ordering 13 paternity tests, of course you're not going to be the same.
No, I mean...
The dude who's going to play daddy ain't even going to feel like it's the same.
No. But here's the thing, I just don't understand it. If you want to have sex and whatnot, have sex. But why do you want a big group of people? Why?
I mean, maybe her mom was Debbie Does Dallas.
God damn it, James.
You knew this was coming. Man.
Yeah, I'm sure she thought that too, but she didn't know when.
All right, this might be the most controversial story we've seen.
Bet.
Man claims that drinking gallons of sperm cured him of homosexuality. Next story. Is that the one that's kind of got you like, what?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't even know what to respond to that because that's. I mean, yeah. I don't know. You got me on that one, James.
Hawaii. A scuba diver hospitalized after his penis gets stuck in giant clam.
You know, you've seen this in like the adult cartoons and whatnot, and it's always been one of those things where you're like, oh, nobody would ever do that in real life. We have become an adult cartoon.
No,
What the fuck?
This is the adult cartoon. A dairy farmer from Southern Ireland says he was sexually assaulted for 2 days by a leprechaun. An extremely short, bearded humanoid. Because now I'm in the weird stories. Like, I'm literally in stuff that says weird. It was inhuman. It was short, fiendish, and spoken gibberish. It used me in every possible way over a period of 2 days, and then it left. A few hours later, I was finally able to free myself from my bonds and call the police.
So what you're saying is some dude got fucked by another dude. He liked it. Then the person left, and then he was sad and was like, nope, I got raped.
Apparently, this has been going on since like 2006 over there. In 2006, leprechaun sightings drew large crowds. In 2012, a Seattle man who was found covered in blood outside of a bar reported being assaulted by a bunch of leprechauns. A Welshman reported that being assaulted and robbed by a pair of evil-looking leprechauns. And then this story.
Are we on an episode of The fucking Simpsons?
Dude, I'm down a rabbit hole like I didn't even want to get into now.
Raping leprechauns. Jesus Christ.
All I did was click on weird stories.
And look what you've done, James. Look what you've done.
Or this one, in Israel, a man claiming to be a time traveler turns himself in for the killing of Jesus Christ.
One more time?
A man claiming to be a time traveler, right, turns himself in for the killing of Jesus Christ.
One more time.
A man claiming to be a time traveler turns himself in for the killing of Jesus Christ. Yeah.
This is why we don't have nice things.
This is why we don't have a lot. How about a veterinarian accused of having sex with more than 300 dogs? I feel like we need to go into the health section now.
Yeah.
And the first story on the health is the woman that's suing Samsung over $1.8 million.
Why?
Oh, here you go. A couple stuck together for 16 hours after mistaking super glue for lubricant.
So basically, God, oh, how painful would that be? Because I'm assuming they're in, and they're just kind of chilling, like, hey, how's your day? You know,
right.
that really shows a relationship, though. That really shows, you know, if you can stay stuck together for however many hours, and you don't make it awkward or anything like that. The only thing would be, though, what if a kid comes from that? And because you're just, like, stuck.
It looks like two men. From the picture that I'm seeing, two men are in hospital gowns. We're going to leave that alone. Man sues strip club.
Okay.
Where he contracted syphilis after licking the dance pole.
No shit, Sherlock.
Well, why? Why is the first thing in your head be like, you know what, that was a good dance, I'm going to go lick this pole?
Do you realize how many fucking women are on that pole? A shit ton. 2, you realize how often they clean that pole? Probably not as much as you'd like. 3, okay, let's think about this for a real quick second. Strippers are not porn stars. They don't get tested. So, if, say, a stripper wanted to go out, I'm not saying all strippers do, because, strippers are strippers, and I'm not saying this is all or one or all, but some like to go out, have a good time, may want to have some canoodling, may meet a customer that, oh, this person's attractive, let's go after that. That may happen. And you may have one of those strippers who does it a lot. And a lot. This makes sense. So then this actually tells you a lot. So now most of those strippers that dance on that pole
now have syphilis.
All
right, this is Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
Allergic man rushed to hospital after girlfriend spread peanut butter on her vagina.
Wait. Rewind.
Yes, a California man is being hospitalized after his girlfriend spread peanut butter on her vagina to punish her cheating boyfriend.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
That's true, and this is what she told reporters. When he went down on me, I saw his lips blow up minutes later. I feel horrible. I thought I was getting even with Mike for giving me chlamydia 3 times in 6 months. But I nearly killed him. I mean...
Yeah.
Next story, we talked about this off air. We were saving it for this. Zoo employee killed while attempting to rape an alligator.
1, natural selection at its finest. 2, do you get a thrill? Like, what? This alligator is stronger than you, can run faster than you, and has teeth sharper than you.
Like, I'm finding all kinds of weird shit. Like, Saudi man sentenced to death for masturbating to drawing of Muhammad.
Right.
San Diego Zoo. Rhino has a 96-hour-long erection after a teenagers feed it Viagra.
Hey, man, now Viagra's over the counter, so it's easier to get.
Right, but why in the first thing in your head, you're like, you know what, I know this Viagra stuff's pretty cool, let's give it to a rhino.
You realize those guys probably smoked a shit ton of pot.
That's true.
And they're like, dude, what would be funny? I think giving a rhino some Viagra, that'd be fucking funny. And his buddy's like, dude, yes, let's do it.
He had a buddy like Joe Rogan sitting in the corner like, dude, do it.
Right.
Former Russian spy claims he killed the real Donald Trump in 2006.
I believe it, too. Yeah.
Believe me, I'm the real Donald Trump.
Here's my birth certificate.
Lottery winner arrested for dumping $200,000 of manure on his ex-boss.
Wouldn't you? I mean, if your boss pissed you off, you're like, fuck you, dude. I applaud this guy. Way to fucking go, dude. You are living the fucking dream. Like, that's probably something everybody dreams about, never gets the chance to do, and then you get the opportunity to do so, and so instead of, holding your money, you're just like, nah, fuck you, dude.
I thought I was done with these news stories, but I found another one. A 640-pound man and his 400-pound wife
1,000 pounds right there.
Had a rather unusual accident last night as the floor of their apartment collapsed during a particular intense sexual intercourse, causing the couple to fall 3 stories.
1, how could you move, like, at all of being that weight? 2, if you're fat and weigh 600 pounds, 400 pounds, you have to lift up a lot of skin to kind of get everything in position. And then finally, if you are combined 1,000 pounds, why the fuck are you living on an elevated floor?
And this is what some of the people said. This couple had very loud sex a few times a week, and the entire structure would shake every time. The walls cracked and the lights flickered. This is an old building. It clearly wasn't built to endure this kind of stress.
Well, and here's the thing. Why are you living on, the 3rd floor?
Right?
Dude!
Then the guy right? Says the landlord was aware of the situation, did not correct it. He said...
so now it's the landlord's fault that you're fat, and then when you have sex, it's like 1,000 pounds on that floor. No, it's your fucking fault, dumbass.
He said the fact that they were overweight didn't justify their expulsion, and he offered to build an additional support beam in my living room, even if the rent is cheap. Most of the other tenants had already left because the situation was unbearable.
Right. Now, all right, 1, you're a fat fuck. Lose some weight. 2, don't live on the 3rd floor. That's all I'm going to say. Jesus Christ.
I mean...
fat motherfuckers. God damn it.
A 14-year-old student builds an atomic bomb as a science project. See, that kid's going places.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't go batshit crazy.
It's actually a female in New Hampshire. She created a 45-kiloton atomic bomb.
So basically, NASA and the FBI and the CIA are going to go and be like, yo, hey, we need you. And you're like, okay. So she's going to be a badass. All right.
Right. No pressure sex there. She'll just be like, I nuke you.
It's like that chick that does the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah, the one that rips the pizza box?
Yeah, no, she's going to be, she's not going to be pressured into prom sex.
A 66-year-old woman, this is in Georgia, auctions her virginity to the highest bidder to pay for a sex change.
One more time?
66-year-old woman is auctioning her virginity online so she can afford a $50,000 sex reassignment surgery.
So she has never gotten laid and now wants a sex change and is offering up her virginity.
There's a lot of young women auctioning their virginity online, but a 60-year-old virgin is like a great taste in aged wine, she told reporters. Goes more.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
It goes more. I've never been into guys, so sex was never my thing. In my youth, I've given blowjobs to friends in exchange for cocaine and had anal sex a few times, but I never really enjoyed
she's not a virgin.
it. Well, vaginally.
All right.
She's not selling anal virginity here. If I don't get the full amount, I just might go for half the operation or do it in Thailand or the Philippines because it's cheaper.
Yeah, hey, you gotta go with the bargain deal on that one.
She said, when I was a little girl, I remember being jealous of the other boys because they could pee standing up.
And that just kind of stuck with you. And
currently, the highest bid is $55.
I'll give you a crisp high five.
A crisp high five.
That's about all I can do.
And the reason why is there's a Cinderella escorts made headlines last year after one woman from Thailand who sold her virginity for $200,000.
Okay. Yeah, not my cup of tea. You get a crisp high five.
So, you get a high five?
Yeah, that's. And if you remember the movie Deadpool, that's where I got that from.
Georgia man kept deceased mother in the freezer for years for casual sex.
Deceased mother?
Deceased mother.
What the fuck?
A 47-year-old man from Georgia has been arrested after allegedly keeping his own deceased mother in the freezer for years while collecting welfare checks, food stamps, and even indulging in sexual activities with the corpse.
Well, it would be weird if then the mother got pregnant.
That's true.
Then we'd have to be asking a lot of questions.
Like someone said, this was a backyard. This was like a neighbor.
Right.
At first, I thought he was fondling some naked woman in an inflatable pool, but then I realized it was his dead mother.
Okay. See, I feel like this is going to end my humanity.
He said he only did it when he was really drunk or his girlfriend pissed him off. That's the only time he ever had sexual relationships with his mother's corpse.
And here is the segment, or part of the show, where I say, bullshit, what in the ass is going on? That is, what woman would want you to have your dead mother
In the freezer.
In the freezer, just chilling. How did that girlfriend not find out about that mother? And how did she not find out about you fucking your mother? And that kind of, goddamn.
Okay, before we talk about our plans this week, this is where I'm leaving it.
Okay.
This might be the worst that I've gotten down rabbit holes that I don't even know if I can climb myself out of.
Right.
China.
Okay.
A fertility clinic accused of inseminating women with pig semen.
So what you're trying to do? All right.
Let me finish.
Do you want pig children? Do you want pig children? Because that's what we're gonna have.
Man bear pig. This is how you get man bear pig.
Al Gore, we need you. We need you now more than ever. Stop China.
And they each paid $7,700.
You've seen Archer, right?
Yeah.
You know when he says like, do you want zombies? Because that's how you're gonna get fucking zombies.
Which I did see a story where apparently now you can use stem cells to try to resurrect the dead.
Do you want zombies? Because that's how you get fucking zombies.
Like I saw the video pop up on my Facebook feed. I was like, you do realize this is how it all starts.
Yep. Walking Dead. We're all gonna
So, 6 employees of the fertility clinic in the city of Lanzhou in the northwestern Chinese province of Ganzhou, I guess I'm sounding that right, received sentence ranges from 8 to 25 years in prison after they were found guilty of using pig semen to fertilize dozens of women.
And this is why we don't have nice things. Actually, China kind of does because they're wealthy now, I guess. But, I mean, Jesus Christ.
This is getting bad, dude. Like, I'm actually hoping this worldnewsdailyreport.com is actually like The Onion.
Oh, yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Like, I'm just reading fucked up news.
Right. All right, now...
I'm reading about the actual website, like, disclaimers and shit.
Making sure that everything's all copacetic.
Even if it's not copacetic, it says news you can trust.
Okay. James, if you are going to trust everything that says you can trust us, you, sir, are a naive...
WNDR shall not be responsible for any incorrect or inaccurate information, whether caused by website
that
users.
That shows a lot, because then... some of that may be bullshit.
And the copyright is the New World Order Media. That makes me feel a little bit even worse, because we all know eventually the New World Order is gonna fuck us all.
Right. Antichrist.
And I'm reading news is about them like impregnating Chinese women with pigs.
Right.
Why do I feel like I just got man sues his mother for breastfeeding him until 12?
This is why we don't have nice things. Anyway, James, I think it's time.
I think it is time.
I think it.
Mother sues tampon company for stealing daughter's virginity.
Oh yeah, it's all the tampons' fault.
$1.4 million in Idaho.
No, Sheedaho.
Like, why?
James, we're going down rabbit holes. We can't.
I'm going to shut this website down.
All right, do it.
It's done. It's done.
Okay.
So before we do finish out the show, I'm going to give some of the final scores that are
cool.
Halftime scores that are coming in right now for the top 25. Alabama's up 49-0.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. Syracuse is up 16-7 on Clemson.
Because Lawrence leaves game with injury.
Ooh. Wasn't that who they decided to start at quarterback?
Yeah.
West Virginia, 35-10. Michigan State is 17-3 over Central Michigan.
Right.
So those are the scores as of right now.
And then 35-10 West Virginia over Texas Tech.
Yes, and Trevor Lawrence took a hit to the head.
Ooh, wait, is Kelly Bryant in the game?
It's
Bryce. Okay. Oh, and Lawrence was looking good. 10 of 15, 93 yards.
Well, he looked good the times that I've seen him play.
Right.
And the Yankees and the Red Sox are tied up 1-1 in the bottom of the second.
Go Yankees.
Go Red Sox. Fuck the Yankees.
Fuck you.
The pinstripes just show that they're prisoners. So, We got about 9 minutes. What's your plans for the rest of the weekend? And what's your plans leading up until next Saturday?
So I'm going to be starting a new job here on Monday, landscaping and whatnot, so that should be pretty cool. And I work at the bar tonight for the OSU game, so that's going to be all kinds of fun. But I'm done with school now, so at the Ohio Media School, I'm done. It's over.
Finally got rid of them.
Yeah, I know. So now I just need to get my schedule all set up, and then should be good. So it's nothing too extravagant yet. Maybe more in the future, but it's kind of wait and see right now. So it's gonna be a pretty lax week.
So you got Knuckles and G Nice on Wednesday nights.
Yep. So here on ScoreOnAir.com, Knuckles and G Nice, Wednesdays 8 to 10.
Did I say Thursday?
I don't know.
No, I said Wednesday. Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that people knew because we were on Thursday, but because of Thursday night football, kind of fucked us. So.
Me, I will be here at the school most of the week, Monday through Friday.
I told people where we were.
Well, they don't. You told everybody where we were.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Because you said the Ohio Media School.
No, I said that's where I was graduating from.
So, I will be doing my instructor assistant job, my graduate assistant. I will also be here Monday for Heel and Face and Friday, doing work for Battle on the Border and getting ready for all that fun stuff. I'm about 30 days away, or about a little bit less than 30 days away until the time of my life on the Chris Jericho Rock and Roll and Wrestling Cruise. As you can see, the hate is real.
He didn't want to bring his buddy along. I see how it is. Whatever.
Well, you can still get a cabin. It's like $2,500.
Do I have $2,500?
That's why I didn't ask you. Because I knew you wouldn't have had it.
Whatever, James. Rude.
So, other than that, it will be football. Same as always. Just let us know what you guys think. We'll have the tape version of this up by Sunday on YouTube.
Right.
The Mixcloud as well, because it's literally as soon as we leave here, I'm going to go home and send this all to you.
Right.
So it can go back on. If you know a small business that's looking to sponsor two dudes that just don't give a fuck what anybody thinks,
rock and roll,
let us know. And we're looking for sponsors right now for the Hands of Justice. We can do on locations.
Yep.
If you're a bar owner, or maybe you'd like to have us come down and do a live show from your bar,
right.
Hit us up, Heel and Face Pod at Hands of Justice Podcast on Facebook.
And you can also email us at handsjustice@gmail.com.
So with that being said, I didn't download our outro again.
You dickhead.
I will get it we will have the outro by next week.
You said that last week.
Well, we got our intro, which thanks again to Bobby O for the great intro. We are very excited about that.
Sound Wales production.
Yep. Next weekend we will be taking live phone calls.
Yep. That's pretty cool. So you can call in, talk
or
to
text,
us, or text in.
Which we'll have the number up on the screen somewhere. Right. Just keep an eye out for that. So with that being said, I guess it's that time.
Peace out, fuckers.
Peace out.
You know the fight, cats and dogs. You think you know the fight.
I think I know the fight. You want to know what?
It doesn't matter what you think.
Welcome everybody to the Hands of Justice. We got our own opinion. You're gonna have to trust us. Lifestyle, fitness, and a hot top violence. Pure entertainment, talking fighters with fly fists. MMA, Bellator, boxing type ish.
Hands of Justice. Let's get ready. They say whatever the fuck they want. You damn right.
Hands of Justice.
And now your hosts, James Hand and Seth Justice.